What's up? Happy Monday. Monday's still fun day. Started the week. We're feeling good. Jared's excited for this weekend coming up. I'm happy I'm in Miami. How are you, Jared? Happy Monday.
Bienvenido a Miami. You got the dream assignment. So,
Yeah.
she goes from Atlanta, which is nice weather, and who do the Hawks face in the first round of the playoffs? Oh, well, no big deal. Let's just go in
So just
Miami.
casually here for like 5 days. It's fine.
And you get the extended stay because it's 2 games and you get the day off in between.
Yeah.
I mean, you are living
practice day, but yeah, kind of like a day off.
Fair enough. Meanwhile, it's 40 degrees in New York, and I'm like getting a cold again because the weather's changing. So,
Does he need a nap?
I do need a nap.
Jared need a nap. I'm like the worst napper, I will say. Like I lay down and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. And then I lay down to take a nap, and all of a sudden it's like, how do I solve world hunger? What's going on here? Like, blah, 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 blah. My mind like tries to solve all the issues of the world. I'm like, why can't I do that when I'm awake? You know what I mean? I don't know.
I could totally see that. You need. Were you the one that told me to get the face mask to cover?
Yeah, the eye.
Yeah, I bought one of those. It has helped with my sleeping lately.
Really?
It honestly has.
Good.
Yeah, it's been great. You've made 2 really great suggestions for my self-care. One being the jade roller in the freezer, which has been a revelation. I do that almost every morning. And then the eye mask. Like I really owe
He's a new man, people.
I am. And it's all because of you. I mean, the gambling advice is great, but the self-care is better.
To all of our viewers out there, make sure all you need is to put your jade roller, and if you don't have one, Amazon, in the freezer or the fridge if the freezer's too cold, and get yourself an eye mask to sleep in. Don't be like, no, I don't need this. I'm too manly. Don't knock it till you try it.
I'm going to whip it out on the plane when I'm flying out. I'm going
to
this weekend for a bachelor party. And
it's life-changing.
I'm not ashamed at all. So if you see me in Vegas, all refreshed, excited, it's because I had a great night's sleep with my sleep mask.
You love to see it, Jared. You really do. Okay, let's get into some betting for today. We got a lot to talk about. Monday, there's quite a bit going on today. We had Better Up, our segment talking about MLB. There's like 10 games on the slate today. Quite a few series getting started off. Some series also finishing up. We have NBA Morning Radar, 3 games today going on in the playoffs. These teams playing game number 2 of the first round. We have some NHL Ice Picks going on today. 6 games on the slate tonight. And then we can't end without a Pickswise 3-star play of the day and our best bets of the day. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's bet it with Better Up. Do you like that transition there? A segment we've been doing, Jared, that he's been really excited about since the beginning of the season. NRFI or YRFI? No run first inning. Yes, run first inning. And you've been tracking, Jared, all of them so far through every single game. Now, I'll let you do the full-on totals. Just for Sunday, NRFIs went 8-6. What are they on the season right now? What are NRFIs and YRFIs on the season?
Kind of flat, 72-70 to the YRFI. But either way, you're down units. So if you just blindly bet these, which I would not recommend doing, you're down.
We would never recommend that on this show. Of course.
Yeah, and we were talking to Justin, producer before we started, and he said, I can't believe, 72-70, you're down 11 units. And I think that just kind of speaks to how highly these are juiced on both sides. For example, it's not -110 on both sides. It's probably more like -115, -120 on both sides with even. And obviously, it gets skewed to one direction. So the splits, and we've talked about the splits with these before.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on them because they can be a little bit hazardous to your bankroll if you don't keep up with them. There are 2 teams in Major League Baseball that have yet to score a run in the first inning.
Wait, can I guess?
Well, it's in the rundown.
I know. Sure. I was just going to try to seem smart for a second.
Cheater. Jeez, Lauren. And Baltimore being the other one. So, by the way, I have these new sound effects here near me.
Oh, we are bringing them out today.
I'm kind of it's a Monday. There's not a whole lot going on. So if you've bet St. Louis to the YRFI, you're up almost 6 units this year. So we'll give a cash register there. If you've bet Baltimore to the YRFI, you're down a shit ton, like 7 units. So we'll give a We'll give one of those.
Jared went nuts on Amazon the other day because he also bought a ring light. He's like showing me all his new gadgets this morning. He's like, I bought this button. I bought this button. I'm like, did you just like sit there, drink wine, and like order shit on Amazon? Is that what's happening right now?
And I'm not ashamed to admit, I just ordered a haul of clothing. They do this great thing, try before you buy, where you can like bring it. And then I have like some new clothes that I'm going to bring with me to my bachelor party next week. I mean, this week I literally am
bachelor party.
An old, yeah. I'm like an old man that just sits around all day and like ordering shit on Amazon that I find interesting.
Hey, I do that sometimes too. And I'll wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh, like I was like, dang, I drank too much wine last night. Why did I order like 10 things from Amazon that I don't need? Why does this happen every single time?
It
that
does.
is Target.
You know what else I'm ordering from Amazon? St. Louis Cardinals YRFIs, because they're on fire this season. Just bet the YRFI in the Cardinals game every day and you're going to win. No, I'm just kidding. There are some interesting trends that are starting to develop. Obviously, the more data we have in May, June, July, it'll start to crystallize. And I'm fascinated to see where this turns out this year. It's a fun project. It's a fun project, and we'll be keeping tabs on it every day throughout the baseball season because these are very popular bets. And
It's crazy though that Baltimore is 8-1 right now on the NRFI, and if you bet their NRFIs, you're up 7.01
units.
That's crazy. Crazy.
Same thing with Cincinnati. You're up over 6 units. So the Reds and the Orioles, NRFI kings.
I know. And teams that haven't allowed a run in the first inning so far. Cleveland, Guardians.
Yeah. If you're betting the YRFI on Cleveland, you're in one of these moods. So the interesting thing about these is I've watched them exclusively now for like a week and a half. Like I know it's not that long, but I've never
see trends developing though in a week and a half. Yeah.
100%. And the one thing that I'm noticing is, for example, yesterday I bet the Orioles-Yankees YRFI, and the Orioles, as we've mentioned, the one team of the two between them and Cincy that hasn't scored in the first inning yet this year, but they had chances. And it was like first and second, one out, and Nestor Cortez kind of got out of it. And in the top half of the inning, Aaron Hicks hit a ball that is a home run like 85% of the time, but it was crazy wind at Camden Yards. These are coin flips. Even the teams like Baltimore and Cincinnati that haven't scored any runs, they're right there. And that's why when I bet these, I like to try to stay on the plus money side, at least right now. Maybe down the road when we get some more secure data, we'll go into the minus money territory. But I'm trying to keep with my disciplined approach. I have one today that I want to bet that's plus money. You're also diving into the NRFI board today.
I am. It kind of goes along with my other pick, and we'll get into that in a second. But first of all, I want to start off with, you're looking at a few different games tonight for the NRFI and the YRFI. So let's start with the Giants taking on the Mets. How do you feel about this matchup here?
Fascinating your NRFI situation here. So I was reading up, first of all, Tyler McGill has been like, first of all, he's got like a Game of Thrones name, Tyler McGill. He's been outstanding this year. He hasn't given up a run all year. So tough to really bet a YRFI with a guy that hasn't given up a run all year. But his career ERA in the first inning is 6.3.
Ooh.
He's a guy that has given up first inning runs in the past, but his first two starts this year have been fantastic. On the other side, Alex Cobb is a fascinating study. So the Giants get this guy in the offseason. I don't know if they've got some magical elixir going on in San Francisco, but his first two starts have been rock solid. His fastball velo, massive tick up in fastball velo. He was hitting 95, 96 in his first two starts, and he was a 93, 94 guy for most of last season. This is a guy that's in his mid-30s, a lot of tread on the tire. You would not expect a tick up in fastball velocity at this stage of his career.
Yeah.
10 strikeouts in his first start. I mean, that's
crazy.
Impressive for a guy that is not known to be a strikeout pitcher. But that being said, the Giants struggle to score in the first inning, one of the lowest rates in baseball, just 2 out of 9 first inning scores so far. And the Mets have been great on both sides. They've only scored a run twice in 10 games in the first, and they've only allowed a run once in 10 games in the first. That's why you're seeing an insane number tonight on this YRFI at plus 130. I'm seeing at Superbook. Might be a little bit less at FanDuel, but if you're going to bet this one tonight, you can't bet the NRFI at like minus 150, minus 160.
Yeah.
You either take a crack at the YRFI. I'm not betting it. I was close. I wanted to. We talked about it pre-show. I was close to betting this YRFI just because the number is insane. But it's tough to bet into these trends right now with McGill pitching well and with Cobb with the uptick in velo. It's tough to
even though it looks enticing and you want to do it.
It looks very plus 130 is probably one of the highest YRFI numbers you will see for a game that's not between like, the Rangers or a team that's got like a crazy, situation going on. So I am on the fence on this one, but I might fire on the YRFI later. But right now it's no play. Officially no play right now. So I just move on before I bet it because I don't want to bet it, but I'm intrigued.
Moving on to the Pirates. They're taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. How do you feel about this YRFI, NRFI, and where do those trends kind of line up?
This one is a YRFI.
Okay.
Hopefully it's a cash. So this line has moved. I got plus 105 at DraftKings last night when I bet this, and I was very pleasantly surprised to see it move in my favor in the morning. It's not plus money anymore unless you maybe find a rogue shop that is hanging like maybe even odds. I probably wouldn't bet this past minus 110, but teams combined 12 and 7 of the YRFI this year, up almost 5 units. And when you get Zach Thompson, who's starting for Pittsburgh, not an overpowering guy, and Eric Lauer just gave up 4 runs to the Orioles. So I'm not really excited about his prospects this year either. Run scored hit rate, Pittsburgh 4 games out of 9 they've scored in the first, and they've allowed a run in the first in 5 out of 9 games. That's a really high. Just to put that in perspective, the average Major League Baseball team scores a run in the first inning about 30% of the time. So keep that benchmark in mind as we get later in the year and teams are well above that or well below that. You would expect some positive or negative regression. But right now, Pittsburgh is well above that in both runs scored and runs allowed in the first. And I just don't trust either starting pitcher. So the fact that I was getting plus money on this YRFI, I thought was very positive. I still would play it at minus 105, minus 110, but nothing past that. So we're going YRFI on the Pirates Brewers.
And then the other team in Pennsylvania, Philly, they're taking on the Rockies at Coors Field. YRFI or NRFI?
This is so I'm not betting this officially, but obviously Coors Field. The goal, so here's the goal with Rockies games this year. The goal is to like double Dutch, wait and wait and wait, and then pounce on a NRFI at plus money because it does happen. They do have scoreless innings at Coors Field, and you are always getting a favorable price to the NRFI at Coors Field because of the altitude, because of all those things. Aaron Nola on the hill for Philly tonight, and he's kind of been up and down. I don't know if you've been, keeping up with the Aaron Nola saga, but this was the ace of the staff a couple years ago. He's in contention for the Cy Young. Zach Wheeler strolls into town, and now he's second fiddle. But his numbers at Coors are actually pretty decent. I was looking at his ERA at Coors Field, 2-0 with a 4.12 ERA. Not too shabby. So the Rockies' offense is not going to be an offense that really scares me this year. They lost Trevor Story. They lost some other key guys. I know they brought in Chris Bryant, but I feel like there's going to be pockets of games where the Rockies plus money NRFI at Coors will be profitable. We hit one the other day. Yeah. I think I'm staying off this one, but keep the Rockies on the radar for NRFIs down the road. Coors Field NRFIs with the Rockies will be a thing. We just have to pick our spot. I don't know. How do you feel about Aaron Nola? The vibes are not great on him, but
vibes are not. Yeah, vibes. I like when the vibes are immaculate, Jared, and the vibes are definitely not immaculate right now.
So that's the vibes.
That's the vibes. That's the vibes.
Vibes for Nola.
I'm also on a NRFI today. I know we're going to do a couple of your strikeout bets too. I'm on a NRFI today. I'm going to talk also about I'm on a strikeout bet as well, but I look at the Sox taking on the Twins. For me, it's the final game of a 4-game series. The Twins took game 1 and lost the following 2 games, right? So on the mound for the Sox, Rich Hill. In his first start, he allowed 3 runs in less than 5 innings pitched. So obviously not the best start for him for the season. But at the same time, again, I'm kind of taking the first start out for a lot of these pitchers because they didn't have as much time in spring training. They didn't pitch as many innings. It's tough to come in and just throw balls when you're not actually throwing to a batter. So some of these first games, I'm kind of taking them out of the mix. But the Twins are pitching Dylan Bundy, who had a great first game pitched. I think he had 1 hit and 0 runs allowed in 5 innings pitched. But for me, the biggest thing in this game, I'm betting the under and also the NRFI in this game. Rich Hill's dad passed away on Friday. So, and he's been in the league for 16 years. Yeah, first of all, like sending thoughts and prayers to his family. But he's been in the league for 16 years. He's played for 12 different teams in those 16 years. So what a serendipitous moment that he's playing for his hometown team. And at the same thing, like he's playing for his hometown team and his dad passed away. I just feel like in like tough moments like this, these players like channel superhero powers, right? So I think that he's going to pitch an amazing game. He's going to bounce back from his first game of the season. Sometimes things are just a little bit bigger than sports. And then with the way that Dylan Bundy pitched in his first start of the season, I think this is going to be a really low scoring game. So right now the total is 8.5. I like the under at -120. I also like the NRFI in this game at -128. This is going to be a pitcher's duel for me. And I think like if you were to bet a prop, I would just look at Rich Hill, just solely based on the fact, not stats based at all, but just solely based on the fact I feel like in some of these tough moments, these athletes channel these like superhero powers. Jared, would you agree?
100%. I think emotionally is the one, like physically, I would say he's going to be probably pretty worn down. He was probably flying around to funerals and doing all this meeting with family emotionally, which is really the hardest and most influential part of our job every day.
Yeah.
Stats are easy. The stats are on the page. We look at them. That's what they are. They are what they are. The hardest thing that we do every day is to get inside these guys' heads because let's be honest, that's where sports live and die. If one guy is not feeling good, he broke up with his girlfriend, this, that, whatever, like, you know, and then the opposite when, yeah, he is inspired. Brett Favre, Monday Night Football, the day after his dad passed away, or I don't know if it was the day after, but the week of, is the perfect example that comes to mind. I mean, he played like one of the best games of his career. So that is a part of the handicap. Now, you mentioned Dylan Bundy. He has a very interesting K-prop number today at 4.5. So you're right.
But you're on.
I am on the under here. He did pitch really well in his first start, 5 scoreless against the Seattle Mariners, but he only had 2 strikeouts in 5 innings. He's projected for 2.9. That's what Fangraphs has him at in this game. He's only hit 5 strikeouts twice in his last 18 starts.
Yeah.
Not a high strikeout guy. And his numbers against Boston, he's actually, because he pitched for the Orioles for a number of years, he has a ton of exposure to this Red Sox lineup. He's got a 5.14 FIP and a 277 batting average with a 23.1 strikeout rate in 173 plate appearances against the Red Sox, current Red Sox hitters in his career. And Boston has a very low K rate against righties, 20.1%. The one thing that's interesting about this game, it's being played at 11 o'clock in the morning. So get
your bets in, people.
Yes, exactly. It starts in 40 minutes. I don't know how he's going to react to that. If I had to guess, pitchers are creatures of habit, and you throw a guy off his routine that much. Granted, both of these guys, Hill and Bundy, are veterans. It's not like it's a rookie that's, Hill, I think, has probably pitched in an 11 o'clock Eastern game before because he's pitched in the American League East, and so has Dylan Bundy for a number of years. He pitched with the Rays for a number of years too. Hill did. So I wouldn't be shocked if they're both up to speed and ready to go right out of the gate, but I would also not be shocked if one or both struggles in the first inning or in the second inning or early in the game, because they are warming up basically when most of us are waking up. So it's a bit of an interesting handicap today with the Patriots Day. Officially, I'm under 4.5 on Dylan Bundy. I got it at over or -138 over at FanDuel. That number's changed. It was bouncing this morning, but that's my official play for this Patriots Day game. Dylan Bundy under 4.5 strikeouts.
I know we have a couple more strikeout props, but I know Scal's been waiting for a little while, and he definitely wants to talk about what the heck a NRFI is. So let's bring him in, Jared, and then we'll go quickly over our strikeout props after that. So Brian Scalabrine, let's bring him in. We have 3 games on the slate tonight. First of all, before we get into basketball, Jared, please explain to Scal what a NRFI is, because he's typed. I think he thinks it's like a Nerf gun or something.
Scal knows. He's on top of it. Here's what I
No,
want.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He doesn't.
No run first inning. NRFI, NRFI. I got to give you props, bud. Nailed that Bucks Bulls game.
No, I didn't.
Nailed it.
Yeah, you did. You said the Bulls were. You didn't. You said they were going to win, but the cover at the 10.5 was the key one. You got the fact that the Bucks scored what? How many times did the Bucks get held to under 100 points?
The Bucks sucked game 1, and we just know that. It's universally known. I don't know, like the people who bet these things in the Vegas money line, like Chicago should have won that game. Like if I thought that DeRozan and Vucevic, and I thought those guys, when you have your whole season has been a disaster. Well, I guess your second half of your season has been a disaster. People in your mind, you could fix things with one game. I really thought the Bulls were going to win that game. But no, I mean, I'm not going to claim that. I thought they were going to win. I told you bet the money line.
But you got the 10.5. Hey, listen, I'm never upset. I didn't. The shitty part is I was taking a nap. I didn't even bet it. But I did wake up and I was like, oh, they covered 10.5. Hat tip to Scal. I have one more nugget for you before we dive into these games.
Okay.
So far, it has been all chalk in the playoffs. The favorites, if you include the play-in games, the favorites are 13-1 straight up. Does that surprise you at all? Sometimes we get the upsets early, but it has been favorites from the jump so far in this postseason.
So except for the Memphis, Minnesota, that would be the only one?
Only underdog, that's one.
But the Celtics did not cover.
No, but they did.
You're just saying money line favorites, yeah.
If you go against the spread, it drops to 10-4.
Okay. Yeah. The game 2 is like the really interesting game, and this is what's different about the playoffs than it is about like the regular season. And you're trying to extract information. What worked, what didn't work? What are you going to try to go to? And you look at each individual series and you got to get your mind into what the coach is going to do and what adjustments that they're going to make. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of compelling things around the NBA looking from game 1 to game 2.
Yeah, it is really so when you're looking at a lot of these teams with game 1, obviously we saw Toronto not play up to what maybe people expected. I thought the first game was going to be a little bit closer. And obviously I watched the Heat Hawks game up closely, which was a really quick 36-hour turnaround from Cleveland. How drastic are some of these adjustments that these teams are going to be making from game 1 to game 2?
So they're not drastic, but they make a big difference. The margin for error in the NBA is tiny, right? So you make one adjustment, there's a psychological advantage to that. So you do something to get a wide open shot. That wide open shot, now all of a sudden that player who made those 2 wide open shots could have 25 for the night. Like look at Tyrese Maxey. Everyone was focused on Harden and Embiid. Maxey has 38. Now all of a sudden Toronto's going to say, okay, we're going to take Maxey away. Now it's going to change everything. Doesn't mean that the floor can't open up for James Harden now. So like it's all about like the smallest little adjustments, but they make a big difference because you're talking about at the professional level. So I do think there's like you could say the Nets Celtics series. Drummond can't play. He's unplayable in this series. And I'm not like down on Drummond. He's just like if the Brooklyn Nets were to win and they're playing against the Bucks, he has to play in that series and he has to be good. But Claxton is so much better against the Celtics. So you'll see Steve Nash. He might even go with Aldridge in spurts, but Claxton will play and Drummond. Like I just feel like he's unplayable in these series. So there's a lot of that going around. Like you talked about Atlanta, the 36-hour turnaround. I don't really chalk that up like blowouts. I don't chalk those up as like, see, the Miami Heat are going to win a championship. I look at it like Atlanta has to like kind of reevaluate how they're going to move forward without Clint Capella, and they got to figure that out, and they're going to figure it out on the fly. So a lot of small adjustments throughout, but it's everyone uses that word like it's a big thing. Small adjustments in the NBA where the margin for error is so small, it makes a big difference.
Speaking of adjustments, game 2 certainly will have them. Raptors, Sixers tonight. We'll start. There's 3 games on the card tonight. We'll start with the first.
Yeah, let's go through them all.
So Raptors now catching 7.5. This means absolutely nothing for the handicap, but I'll be honest, maybe it does matter because on National Peacock Day, St. Peter's beat Kentucky. Now, today, I promise you, I shit you not, Scal, April 18th is National Velociraptor Awareness Day.
Wait, first of all, I can't whistle.
The Raptors going to win out work today? I'm telling you, Scal, I'm looking at the sheet right now. That's
Jared, how do you know that?
Wait a minute.
What day is it
I
today?
swear to God, it is.
Right.
How do you know that?
Well, I don't understand. Like, being aware of velociraptors would mean like, hey, when you're driving your car down the street, you guys just be aware. If a velociraptor is in the crosswalk, you got to make sure we stop for them today. I don't understand how. Maybe it's day to remember the velociraptor, even though no human being has seen one. I'm not sure I understand this, like how it's National Awareness Day for velociraptors.
Go look it up. I'm looking at it right now. National Velociraptor Awareness Day, April 18th. I swear.
Now, let me ask you a question. Hold on here. Let me ask you a question. You come in with the goods on baseball. You know all kinds of nonsense, useless information in my world. And you want me to tell you to co-sign the Raptors because it's National Velociraptor Awareness Day. Like, what's the drop-off here? What's the drop-off here?
Scal, I'm just giving you the facts, bud. A few weeks ago.
No, you gave me the facts in baseball. I don't know what you just gave me.
Peacocks beat University of Kentucky in basketball on National Peacock Day. The world gives us these cookies sometimes, and you can either eat it or you can throw it back.
I don't understand the correlation between that one either.
The St. Peter's Peacocks.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that either. I mean, you know a lot of useless shit, man. You really do. All right. I'm not, put it this way. Let me just be honest with this series. I'm just going to be like, I didn't get enough out of game one to sit here and say, this is what you should do. So you want to bet National Velociraptor Day, go right ahead. I got nothing on this series. I don't know, with guys being out, like Scotty Barnes being out, I don't have like a good feel on this. And I don't want to bullshit you guys. So you can go with a Velociraptor Day. I'm not betting this.
I'm more interested in the next game that Lauren will talk about, the Jazz.
Okay.
Yeah, we got the Jazz taking on the Mavs. Obviously, the Mavs 5-point underdogs in this one. Is Luka coming back? Is he not coming back? The Jazz took the first game. Just your thoughts on this series.
I just laid down like real, or a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend did it for me. I like the Mavs to still win this series. I think they're getting good money, plus 575 right now. The Mavs played awful, and the Jazz played what I considered standard Jazz basketball, right? So I think the Mavs are going to figure this out. They're trying to like give the ball to Jalen Brunson and play Luka Doncic style. And it's not, this is not odd, right? They need to figure out what their style is without Luka. And by the way, they do it all the time when Luka goes to the bench. They have a different style of play. They just didn't stick with it. Mavs, I like them today. I don't know if they'll win. I think they'll win. That's why I just bet the series. But I really like them to cover. I think it's a great number for the Mavs at home.
Do you like them to cover? Would you bet their money line at plus 188, or do you not feel as confident?
Well, I got burned with the Bulls. I think I would tell, instead of going like, so what I feel is going to happen is yes, I feel like they're going to win. But I think because I thought the Bulls were going to win and they played awful, it doesn't mean that these players who are not Luka Doncic can play awful. So I would feel more comfortable putting more money on the Mavs to cover. So I probably would do that.
Yeah,
that's what I did. I just locked it in. We're going to talk about a play of the day, but Mavs plus 5.5. First of all, everybody is betting the Jazz today. I'm looking at
it's too easy.
It's too easy. I'm seeing 80, 60, 70% of the bets handle all on Dallas or all on Utah today. And I think the 5.5 matters. You're almost getting 2 full possessions now on the Mavs to cover at home. And again, mentality. And you tell me if this is something that seeps into these guys' heads. Utah goes in. They know they've got 1 in the bank on the road. They know they've got 2 more coming up at home, the next 2 games. Little bit of a relax. Hey, we don't need to win this game tonight to win this series. We know at worst we're going back home to a tough environment in Utah, at least with a split. To me, that's advantage Dallas with desperation on their side.
For sure. That means a lot. A lot of times when people talk about adjustments, it's just about sometimes playing harder and playing with an edge. Like the edge is something that is hard to see unless you're like in the building. It's really hard for me to pick up on TV when I'm watching, but when I'm watching live games, I can tell the difference between a closeout where you're call it 1 foot away versus 2 inches away. That's a big difference in the NBA. So yeah, I think that was a lot of points. If it was like 2.5, I'd still probably like the Mavs, but it's 5.5. But we'll see. I just don't think Utah's that good. I think they're fine. They're a good team. I just don't think they're a great team. So I like the Mavs today.
Total. It's like 205 for an NBA game. That's like a 90s game, right?
Yeah, that's another one. I like the over in that game for sure. Like, the Mavs are not going to play like this slug it out type of style. They're going to figure out offensively how to get up and down the floor. And the Jazz, they missed all kinds of wide open threes. I like the over in that one too. And I'm not even an over under guy, but that was like a neon light to me when I was like, this game is not going to unfold like that.
You look at a game with the Denver Nuggets taking on the Golden State Warriors. Obviously, Golden State took the first one. Right now, they're 7-point favorites heading into game 2. But Nikola Jokic looked really good in game 1. It's just, what did you think about them? And do you think that they can steal a game against the Golden State Warriors? Or do you think they're going to get swept?
I don't know if they're going to get swept. I think they might win one at home. I don't like the game from a number standpoint. Like, are the Warriors? I think they're going to win. Are they going to win by this much? I love the over in this. Well, I got it at 225. What'd you guys get it at? About right around there?
Yeah.
Check the numbers.
Right now it's at 223.5.
Yeah, so I like the over in this game. Like the Warriors got a ton of wide open shots. Curry and Clay are going to make them. Jordan Poole, like, love what the Warriors are doing. It's why I keep telling you guys the Warriors are better than people think. And then, but here's what I do like. So I like the over, and I like Nikola Jokic having a huge game. Like, the Warriors are not going to double team him. They're going to play him straight up, and he is figuring out Draymond Green, who's an elite defender. But it's just the size of Jokic is a problem for Draymond. So look for Jokic to have a huge, huge night on the prop side. And but I wouldn't touch if the Warriors are going to end up covering. Jokic is that good where he can by himself make sure that it's a close game. So I like the over, and I like Jokic having a big night tonight.
2 things there. Jokic's points, rebounds, assist number, all 3 stats combined is 49.5. So you need him to get the 50. So that's 30, 10, and 10. He gets home.
I would take that. Yeah, I would take that. I think he's going to have like a 40, like a 35 and a 13 rebound. So just whatever you want to imagine for assists. But yeah, Jokic's having a big night tonight. He's going to be big.
I'm excited about it.
I like that a lot.
Okay, so Scal, we do this thing called Red Hot Chili Proppers. We did it a lot for.
I love them, by the way.
Instead of Red Hot Chili Peppers, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
I believe, love it. We'll start singing.
No, don't do that.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a prop number, and I want you to tell me if you think it's going to be over or under in like a 15, 20, 30-second reasoning why.
Okay.
Scal, I'm going to come to you first. Jared, you second. Okay. So over under. Words hard sometimes. Over under 46.5 points and rebounds for Joel Embiid.
Ooh, no Scotty Barnes. Dang it. I have to take it. All right. I'll say under. I think Toronto's on Velociraptor Day is going to try to take away Embiid. They're still going to focus their energy towards Embiid. And you saw those talk about Nick Nurse and the fouls, and Embiid's just running over us. That's going to come into play here under on Embiid.
I think the zigzag theory for all these games is the way I would play it. So all the home favorites that won and covered in game 1, I would look to fade all of those numbers in game 2. So I would say under an Embiid. That's a high number too for points and rebounds. He's got to drop at least 30, 35. He's not getting 16 rebounds. That means if he gets 30 points, he has to get 17 rebounds for this to hit. I mean, it's a pretty low total game as it is. So I definitely would say under to that.
Over under 27.5 points for Donovan Mitchell, Scal.
Ooh, that's a great number. They know what they're doing.
Yeah. Vegas is on top of it.
I would say over.
Okay.
And I still think Utah struggles when he takes a lot of shots. Like, it's just one of those things. So I think he's going to have a big night. It might not be efficient. So I'll take the over.
He took 29 shots in the first game.
That's crazy, man. He doesn't. I don't love watching him play, but whatever.
And he banked in a 3 in the second half that really turned the tide of that game. I love the Dallas pick tonight. I think under for Mitchell. But the volume is there. So you would think over, if he takes 29 shots, he's going to get 28 points. You would
For
hope.
sure.
Mhm.
He's going to take 29
He's
shots.
probably going to take 29 shots again. So I would
Yeah.
say, even though we like Dallas in the game, I would lean over just based on the volume alone.
You know what? You know why Utah sucks?
Why?
Is because they don't communicate with one another.
Mhm.
They're okay with everyone taking bad shots. They don't have like, when you have a family and you're a brotherhood, you can get on guys about taking them
Yeah.
crazy shots.
Yeah.
Like teams that are passive aggressive, I can see that with my eyes. That stuff doesn't work. Just
Not
be
at
good
all.
with it. Be good, Donovan Mitchell. Don't every time someone says, "Hey man, move the ball. I'm going to New York." Like, forget that, man. Like, you're here now. I'm telling you, man. I don't like Rudy Gobert. No. All I want you to do is move the ball. Like, Gobert's a problem. Like, give me a break with all this stuff, man. I don't like passive aggressive teams. Dallas is gonna win this series. Jump on that now.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Love it.
Okay. Last time, Red Hot Chili Pepper, our boy Steph. Scal, do you think over under 3.5 threes?
Ooh,
Oh, that's over.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't even need a reason. He's Steph
Yeah.
Curry.
It seems low. I said 3.5.
Very
That's
low.
Well, he's coming off the bench. I think
He's gonna get
once
more minutes
again,
in the game, right?
he played 22. Yeah, it's
When he had
all about emphasis.
22
It's all about emphasis. Jordan Poole will now get more emphasis, which
Yeah.
will leave less emphasis for Clay and Steph. So you want to jump on one or the other guys? Like, Jordan Poole is going to be a conversation for the Denver Nuggets. And so when that happens, what do you think is going to happen to the other guys? I love it when people say, this guy played great. Yeah, because they left him open because they wanted to stop that guy. It's all about where you emphasize. There's going to be more attention towards Jordan Poole. Curry has a nice game. He'll probably play 25, 27 minutes.
Yeah.
He'll make those threes for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, he'll play more minutes. So he had 3 in 22 minutes in the last game. Now they took 35 threes, which is a lot. Poole and Curry took the same amount of shots. They each took 13 shots. I would be willing to bet that Curry takes more shots than Poole tonight. If that's a bet that I would absolutely make. This feels like a Curry game. And I'll give you one more question that I know has been a hot button topic amongst our producer, Justin. He's convinced that the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to the Western Finals. Go ahead.
I have also said if one more person
He's buying into all that.
chains or glues themselves to the court or the basket in a Timberwolves game.
What do
I'm
you
done.
got, Scal? Is he on one, or has he got a chance to hit that one?
Is he a Minnesota fan, or he's just like liking him now?
In the chat right now saying Anthony Edwards equals the 2006 Dwayne Wade.
Got it. So you know what the problem is? There's players on that team that I dislike, and there's players on the team that I love. Like, I love McDaniels. I love Anthony Edwards. You know, I can't. I'm like lukewarm on Pat Beverly. I don't hate him. I think he's a big. But there's a makeup in your soul and your DNA that their best players do not have. Like, I've been through those things. I've seen like the stars and what it means to them. I could tell fakeness right off the jump. Some guys it means a lot to them, some guys it doesn't. Their best players, if Anthony Edwards is not their best player, if you want to think that, they don't have that soul. They don't have it in their DNA. So I got Memphis.
The Nets, now that they're basically pretty heavy dogs in the series, are we still buying them to win this series? Do you think they got a shot, or did Boston steal? Boston, it felt like the Nets needed to win that game yesterday.
The thing I took away from that game is I have no idea how 2 is going to unfold. Kevin Durant's going to be great. Like, Kyrie Irving might not. The Celtics have to figure out some things defensively. Andre Drummond is unplayable in that series. You cannot put him on the floor. Yeah. So I'm almost taking that. Like, Celtics got lucky. They got a 1-0 lead. Yeah. But I think the series starts in game 2. And I got nothing long-term on that series because I can't take anything away from game 1. And I think both coaches more Steve Nash will make more adjustments than Ime. Ime is just like, he believes that what they do is going to work. And I don't disagree with him.
Yeah.
There's something to be said about betting the Nets right now plus 1.5 games in the series and just basically betting on it to go 7. Like, you can get that almost even money right now.
I got nothing. I wish I did. I study both teams, and I'm in this series.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going into the series. If we had an hour-long pregame show and they're asking me, what do you expect? I don't know. I just expect Drummond.
I guess that's
Drummond's not going to play.
Yeah, it's
Series,
National
unpredictable.
Leprechaun Day or something, like Celtics.
Nash-
Like, I don't know. Find what day of the week it is for the series. See how that
I'll do
works out.
stuff like that. That's so good.
National Leprechaun Day, bro. Bring that to the pregame show. They'll love it. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the awareness of the Velociraptor, I don't understand that. Like, you know what? I'm going to be aware. As I'm driving down the road today,
Gotta be
I'm
aware,
going to
bro.
make sure I
Just,
stop
know,
for all
check left and
Velociraptors
right
walking
before
around.
crossing the street. Check left and right. Last one from you, Scout, before we let you go. Which team do you have the most faith in at this point, bouncing back after game one from making those little adjustments with how small the margin of error is?
The team that can bounce back and win, like game two, I think it would probably be the Mavs. I probably have the most confident in the bounce back game.
Yeah.
It'd have to be one of those teams. Like, Memphis would be another one. I'm pretty confident.
Memphis is another interesting one. You can get them at basically even money right now to win the series.
Yeah, I'll
good.
take that. Like, I'm pretty confident at Memphis bouncing back, figuring it out, and the Mavs today figuring it out. But it's hard. Like, if you're a home team and you lose game one, that's a different mindset going in.
Yeah.
So,
I expect the
You're
Grizzlies
playing
to
your
do a
heels
very
then.
good effort tomorrow.
yeah.
Scout,
They got a guard, man. They give up 41 points in the first quarter.
Seriously.
I don't want to hear talking to smoke. I want to climb up the chimney, and I don't want to hear all that stuff if you don't guard anybody. Like, we want all the smoke. Look at us score. Like, I'm not doing that. You ain't winning jack.
The only smoke you're seeing is off of Anthony Edwards blowing by him into the paint.
We want all the smoke on the offensive end. That doesn't work, man.
You want all the smoke only on the offensive end of the floor. Scal, thank you so much. Make
Great
sure to look
stuff,
left
bud.
and right for those Velociraptors today.
Oh, yeah. Watch out, you guys.
Yeah, we want to
Shout
see
out
what
to
you later this week.
Velociraptors
Make sure to
everywhere.
Watch out.
See you guys.
Thanks,
Have
Scal.
fun,
Appreciate it.
Oh, great stuff, man.
Jared, I know I want to get back to our MLB strikeout bets before we get into NHL and then finish out the show. So you were on one more strikeout bet. What was it? I forgot what it was.
Yeah, so I'll just wrap up the baseball card right now. First of all, great. Scal, incredible stuff. Unbelievable insight. The way that we're able to marry his insight into the betting lines and the analysis is a very
it's cool.
It's favorable for the gamblers, and those are all the people watching us. So that's great. All right, so we're on the Pirates Brewers YRFI plus 105. We're on Dylan Bundy under 4.5 strikeouts, laying 38 cents. You're not going to find that price anywhere, but I would still lay it on Bundy. The sharp money, and I think the trends and the angles point to an under for him this morning. The final strikeout prop I will give you, it is a plus money prop. I got down on this over at the Westgate. Huascar Ynoa under 4.5 at plus 112. This is the late night game. They are in LA tonight against the Dodgers. Fangraphs has him projected for 3.98. He's coming off a 4-strikeout, 3-inning performance against the Nats. I would probably put him somewhere in that vicinity. The Nats are not a great offense. Dodgers, much better offense. And I think the key here is the home road splits for Ynoa are gaping. 11.34 Ks per nine at home last season. That drops to 8.12 on the road. He's a pitcher, doesn't understand the road, angles as much as the home. He's a little more comfortable at home, obviously. And I think the fact that he's at Dodger Stadium tonight against a very good Dodgers lineup that strikes out just 20.9% of the time against righties, I feel like LA could get to him early. Even if he does go 4 innings, I feel like this stays under 4.5. I don't see him getting to 5. So we're going to go Huascar Ynoa under 4.5 strikeouts, plus 112. Good plus money price there. Over at the Westgate, you can probably find even odds at some of the other shops. The best price I found was at Superbook.
Yeah, I like it. So my plays for today, Sox Twins under 8.5, minus 120. I like the NRFI in that one at minus 128. I just think it's going to be a pitching duel. Obviously, Dylan Bundy comes into the season. He has a really, really great first game. Rich Hill's dad passed away on Friday. So I think that he's going to come out with some superhuman powers in this game. It's going to be a big pitching battle for me. So I'm really excited to see that game. I think it's going to be a good one. The only other thing I'm looking at, and I know that you had a little bit of pushback on this, Jared, too. I like Luis Garcia over 4.5 strikeouts. He has a career strikeout rate right now of 25.4%. He had a slow start this season. He only had 1 strikeout in 4 innings against Arizona, who is a high strikeout team. But again, I say it about having a limited spring training, not getting that many innings pitched, not pitching that much. A lot of these guys are on a certain pitch count. Like we saw the other day with Clayton Kershaw being taken out after pitching a perfect game, but he threw 84 pitches and their plan was for 80 pitches. Anyways, I digress. But you're looking at some of these guys like slowly warming up to the season and kind of getting in their rhythm, getting in their flow. So a few of these guys I'm taking out that first game because I don't think that that's going to be how they're pitching throughout the season. So he has the opportunity to get back on track tonight with strikeouts, especially against a team like the Angels. They have a strikeout rate of 26.2%. And based on his career numbers from his entire career, he only has to pitch 5 innings to reach the 5 strikeouts for the bet. And that's a little boost going against a team with a high strikeout rate. So for me, I look at career, especially with this year, with it starting late, not having a long spring training. I look at their career numbers over their first game numbers, especially this year. Guys are rusty. They're getting into rhythm. I like the over in this one, over 4.5 strikeouts. It is a little juiced. It is minus 144, but I feel that confident in it with a guy like Luis Garcia and his career numbers only having to pitch 5 innings to get 5 strikeouts.
Yeah, so, I'm not gonna fade you on this one. I was thinking about the under because we got a really strong plus money price and he wasn't great in his first start strikeout number wise. Mm-hmm. I do tend to agree that it's hard to take a lot from the first number, the first sprint out of the gate. A lot of times you actually do get a lot of value fading what happened in that first game. Mm-hmm. And I think when I was going through my numbers this morning, the thing that got me off of betting it was the Angels strikeout number is high. Also, Mike Trout might not play tonight. He got a pitch last night in his hand and left the game. So the lineup and some uncertainty there. Houston, LA, they've got this rivalry of 2 of the better teams in the West. And actually his fastball velo ticked up a little bit in his first start. 94.6 average velo with his fastball, 93.3 last year. So I'm not going to fade Garcia, but I was thinking about it.
It is a little juicy though. So you have to feel pretty confident in it to lay.
I think it was I think it's a strong pass for me. I think it was a pass for me, but I'm not going to argue with you too much on the over.
Thanks, Jared. Appreciate that. Okay, let's move on to the ice before we get into our plays of the day. I know you don't have any hockey picks today. I'm going to give out one of mine. We'll do 3-star play of the day, and then I'll get to my second hockey pick.
That are intriguing, that are almost eye-popping in hockey, that I at least want to mention. Do you want to pick first, or do you want me to give the notes?
Yeah, I'll give one of my picks first. So I'm looking at the Canes taking on the Arizona Coyotes. So the Canes obviously want to bounce back. They got crushed 7-4 against the Avs, but the Avs, again, the best team in hockey right now. Like, they're unfreaking stoppable. But obviously the Canes are the better team than the Arizona Coyotes the Coyotes are far out of playoff contention at this point, but I wanted to find the best value here because I really believe the Canes are going to bounce back in this game. Arizona right now is last in the league in shots and shot percentage. Canes are one of the best defensive teams in the league. Frederik Andersen has been solid. He has a .916 save percentage. Offensively, goals-wise, the Canes are the 10th best in the league and also the first in the league on power play opportunities. They just have too many weapons offensively. Like, the Coyotes are so bad. Like, so bad. So I feel like I'm betting their puck line and getting it at minus 144. It's not too steep of a price for me because I really feel confident that the Canes are going to want to get back on track after that big loss against the best team in the NHL, and they are not going to want to drop this game to Arizona. So I got the Canes puck line, which is minus 1.5 at minus 144, and I feel pretty strongly about this one. Arizona is just so bad. Just so bad.
They are.
And that's that.
Bad. This is one of the craziest stats that I've seen maybe all season in hockey. If you bet on a favorite this weekend in the NHL, any favorite, all 22 of them, you didn't lose.
Wow.
Favorites have won 22 consecutive games in the NHL. They went 22-0 over the weekend. It's almost
that's actually insane.
It is. It's insane. Reasoning, there's no logical reason for that to happen.
Reasoning?
But
I don't know.
If you wanted to try to grasp at straws and try to find one, underdogs tend to be the worst of the 2 teams. Most of the time, the underdog's out of the playoff race.
I also feel like the discrepancy between good teams and bad teams in the NHL is so far apart at this point.
I agree. That's why we're seeing minus 500 money lines on some of these games.
Yeah, where you looked at like NBA, the Eastern Conference, everything was so close, so close. But like with hockey, it's like the Canes are up here and the Yotes are down here.
Exactly.
Like the ceiling and the floor.
The ceiling is the roof. 22
Yes.
and 22-0. Not only that, since Friday, games are averaging 7.41 goals. So we are seeing a lack of defense and a lack of fire or grit or determination, passion with the underdogs. And there's only 5, 6, 7 games left in the NHL season, depending on where the teams are with their schedule. Be very, very careful with betting the dogs this final week. I mean, that's absurd. And I know it's going to end at some point. There will be an underdog that wins. Maybe it's tonight, maybe it's not. But when I saw that in my nightly roundup, I was like, that can't be right. And then I looked and it was right. And I don't know how to explain it. There is no logical reason for 22 imagine hitting a 22 team favorite parlay. I mean, I've never seen a 22 team parlay hit.
That's crazy.
But that is what happened in the NHL over the weekend. So favorites, chalk. Hope you like your chalk here in the NHL on Monday morning. That's what we got for you.
Okay, I have one more hockey bet. I'm not going to talk about it yet because it's my best bet of the day. So let's go to Pickswise.com. What do we got for a 3-star play of the day or plays of the day?
Whole lot of nothing. Let me do a refresh right now. I did a refresh before the that one popped up. See, this is why we do a refresh right before. I did a refresh for the show and there was nothing. Mark Lammy is betting the Angels-Astros game. You might like the pick because it goes with
let's go.
Bet on your pitcher that you're betting a K-prop over for.
Let's go.
And I'll be honest, I'm super excited about this match. It's tomorrow, Liverpool Man United. James Milton has a play on the total.
Ooh.
Which we can get into a little bit more tomorrow, but super excited for a very good EPL match tomorrow between Liverpool and United.
Okay, let's get into our best bets of the day. I'm going to go first since it's kind of going with the hockey theme at this point. So the game I'm looking at is the Dallas Stars taking on the Vancouver Canucks. And I like Canucks money line at +100. I like getting it at plus money. Now the Stars, they're starting a 3-game road trip right now. They need to win a couple of games to secure themselves a postseason spot. They have 7 games left on the season, 3-game road trip, and then they finish off the season with 4 home games. The Canucks, also in the hunt right now for a playoff spot. They're 7 points behind Dallas in the conference. But the Canucks have won their last 5 games. Vancouver's also won both matches against Dallas so far this season. Dallas is also kind of hot right now. They've won 3 of their last 4. Braden Holtby is officially out indefinitely with a lower body injury. So that's a big thing for the Stars. At this point, they're scoring 2.87 goals per game, which is, I think, like the 20th best offense in the NHL. So offensively, like they're good, they're decent, they're mid, if you will. And they have the 14th best defense in the league, which again is just mid. For the Canucks right now, they have the momentum. I think one of the reasons why they are at plus money right now, because I thought this was going to be a little bit more of a pick'em game. Bo Horvat is out. And so is Tanner Pearson. Brock Besser is also questionable. I think he's going to be playing now. But the Canucks are averaging right now 2.95 goals per game. That's 19th in the NHL. Not great, but 9th defensively. And that's kind of what's been keeping them in some of these games. The Canucks right now, I think they're 5-game winning streak. They're going to ride that momentum out. They really need this game a little bit more to keep their playoff hopes alive. And I just love their current form. I love that they beat Dallas twice on the season so far. And the imperative that they must win. The momentum's on their side. I like getting it plus money. And they're playing at home. So that's another momentum factor for them. So give me the Canucks at plus money line. I can see this game going into overtime and them stealing it in overtime. And Dallas still getting a point from the game, which I think they'd be happy about, Dallas would, with the way that the Canucks are playing right now. So lock it in, baby. Plus 100, Canucks money line. Let's get it.
So you're betting an underdog in hockey is what you're telling me.
That's what I'm doing. So you're saying there's a chance.
After everything we just said about the underdog.
Yeah. Honestly, though, the only reason I think the Canucks are the underdog in this spot is because Bo Horvat and Tanner Pearson are both out. I really do think this would have been a lot more of a pick-em game, to be honest with you, if those guys are playing. So, but I think that they'll be able to swarm back. I think their defense is good enough to be able to shut down a Dallas offense that's kind of lackluster, 20th in the league. So I feel good about it. I feel good.
Don't mess with Lauren's hockey picks. She's a stud. All right. Play of the day. This is, in my opinion, one of the easier ones that I felt like we've given out recently, and it is all based on our friend Brian Scalabrine, who, by the way, is doing an incredible job analyzing NBA for us. I always say that the best marriage of analyst to, betting analyst to, sport analyst roles are people that have played the game.
Just really quick time out. You go, I always say that.
It's how I feel about Diane too.
Yeah, it's true. She's great.
People that know what goes on inside these guys' minds. It helps us so much.
Mm-hmm.
You can take that information and apply it to the betting lines and what the lines are telling. Tonight, the betting line in this Dallas-Utah game is telling me Dallas. Mavs are almost a full two-possession underdog at home. I locked in 5.5 during Scal's little diatribe about Dallas. I just like the motivation edge that they're going to have tonight. Utah knows that they're going back home, at least at worst, split 1-1. Mm-hmm. And this was on the razor's edge of being a Dallas win. I was watching this game. There was a 1-point game in the final 2 minutes, and Maxi Kleber had a 3-point shot to put the Mavericks ahead. It missed, and Utah went on like a 6-0 run down the stretch, and they ended up covering by 0.5 point. They didn't play their best game, and Dallas did not play their best game, and I think Utah played just well enough to win. I think Dallas will play better tonight. If you want the full analysis of why the Mavericks are going to play better tonight, scroll back about 20 minutes and listen to Scal. But we are taking 5.5 points with the Dallas Mavericks tonight at home against the Utah Jazz. By the way, I also just locked in Nikola Jokic over 49.5 points.
He does it all.
He does it all. I got -115 over at Caesars. So that's not my play of the day. Play of the day is Mavericks. Both plays are 1 unit, so it doesn't matter which one hits. We'll go even on the night if we go 1-1. But we're going to go 2-0. But the Mavericks officially +5.5 play of the day. But I would put some money on that Jokic prop as well.
Love it. That's it for us today. Best of luck tonight, everyone. Find us at the Pickswise YouTube channel. Go to pickswise.com. Follow us on Twitter. Jared Smith, Lauren Jabara. We got a long show today. Lots of chit chat. You love to see it. We'll see you again tomorrow. Don't miss us too much. Let's get it. Let's bet it. Happy Monday.